Next up is Uhip Gran with a poem about the geopolitics of Israel. Yabba-dabba-doo, yabba-dee-bee, yabba-dabba-doo. Now let that sink in. I hope you guys liked my poem. It's very, very deep, as I'm a very deep person. I'm very creative, and honestly, I've felt really inspired by the person we're covering today. If you don't know who we're going to be covering, it is Mina Dragonfruit. She is a 16-year-old TikToker who is absolutely massive and has a ton to complain about. A lot about the social politics, women, and high school for some fucking reason. And the reason I felt like covering a 16-year-old is because a lot of her complaints are very, very privileged and seem a little bit out of question when it comes to whether they're a real issue or not. Like, a lot of her complaints about school seem very, very privileged and not self-aware in the slightest. So, yeah, let's get into it. Let's look at the first clip here.
School makes people pleasers. In school, they tell you it's about effort. They tell you about merit. They tell you work hard and you'll be seen.
Yeah, I mean, if you're class valedictorian, it's pretty easy to get into college because a lot of colleges are going to want you because you are extremely smart. If you try really hard and have a good SAT score, you're probably going to go somewhere nice.
But see by who? The teacher, the system, or the cranky mood of someone who just woke up this morning? You sit there spine straight, not learning but performing, hands raised but not too often, voice confident but not too loud, opinion sharp but not too sharp because they don't want thinkers, they want agree as ooh who said that.
That's such an awful point. It's amazing. School does not want you to be an agreeer. They want you to be a thinker. That's the point of school. Let's just take science, for example. A lot of scientific discoveries actively went against the previous beliefs. When you look at, like, our solar system, that went against the previous beliefs of the time, and it was widely condemned, but it ended up being true. So they don't just want agreeers, they want people who think, because that leads to more innovation going forward. That's an awful point.
And somewhere along the way, you realize something uncomfortable. You don't learn how to earn a good grade. You learn how to please the person giving it. You study expressions, not just subjects. You read faces, not just textbooks. You adjust your words until they sound like something people would reward. So tell me, is it really intelligence or is it just adaptation?
Yep, those were a lot of words coming at you real fast, because being loud and fast means you're right. I'm kidding, of course. It doesn't. That's a horrible point. Those things aren't necessarily either-ors. I don't understand. Like, are you trying to say that if you adapt to your school schedule or to, like, whatever hardship you're facing, that's not an intelligent move, especially when it's towards your goals? I feel like that would be a very intelligent move. And she also tries making it like school is this, like, very awful thing that you have to go through, and it's just all around just a negative thing. When in reality, it's a very good thing. A lot of schooling systems in America are pretty good. And not every country and every human gets the accessibility to free public schools like you do. That is a massive privilege that you just, for some reason, don't understand. A lot of other countries are significantly less fortunate than you. If you look at, I don't know, like North Korea, they don't have the same kind of public schooling that me and you do. They don't. They don't have anywhere near it. And yet, for some reason, you want to act like we have the worst public schooling when it has been shown time and time again that we're not the worst public schools out there. I don't think we're one of the best, but we're also not the worst. It's a massive privilege to live in a country that will pay for your public education up until you are eligible to get a job with said education. Like, it's such a fucking massive privilege that she, for some reason, tries to, like, undermine. It's insane.
Why do children have to spend the same hours at school as parents do at work?
I don't know. You tell me. Do you think a 5-year-old kindergartner hopping off the bus can prepare food for themselves? No, they can't. A lot of them do not have the functionality or the skills to make food for themselves and survive on their own. A majority. I know there are a few exceptions, but a majority of them cannot. Not to mention, it's not exactly fun for the parents either.
What makes it weirder is that when adults come home, they can drop their keys on the table, kick off their shoes, sink into the couch, turn on the TV, follow a hobby, go for a run, just breathe. Their time becomes theirs again. But kids, when we come home, the day still isn't over. Homework, studying, presentations, worksheets, deadlines chasing us into our bedrooms. But imagine adults bringing their office home every night.
Yeah, a lot of professions do have situations that require work from home. In at least America, which I assume she's referring to. If you look at the professions of, let's say, a lawyer, if you're an entry-level lawyer, you're working at a big firm, it's commonly expected that you will do some work from your house, or even in business. If you are working for a company and a deadline is coming up for a presentation, you will have to do that presentation at your own time if you cannot get it done during your shift. That's just expected of you as an adult. I don't know why you don't understand that. Have you never seen Suits or talked to somebody that has done a presentation for a business?
Emails at dinners, reports at midnight, boss calling on a Sunday. Everyone would say that's toxic, that's unhealthy, that's a burnout. They'd protest, complain, demand boundaries.
Yeah, those things are called toxic, but they still happen very frequently. There are a lot of people that have been in situations like that, especially with entry-level positions. So no, it's not anything crazy. Also, if you're trying to make this analogy and used, the boss calling on Sunday, like, when has a teacher ever fucking called you on the weekend? Like, if a teacher calls your phone on the weekend, that'd be fucking insane. They'd be fired.
But when kids do it, they just call it school. It's brushed off, saying, relax, that's normal. When we were young, we had to do the same thing. Like, suffering is kind of a tradition we're supposed to inherit.
I could only imagine putting myself in your shoes. It must be horrible living in a house that is fully furnished and you have food on the table every night and you're expected to do your homework on time. Man, that sucks. That really, really, really sucks. I really feel for your parents because, they have to try and help you through all that while balancing their work, which is super easy and fun. If you can't tell, I'm being satirical. What the fuck are you talking about? All this suffering. Dude, it's fucking high school. I can get it gets bad. I understand that it's not exactly fun, and it's stressful a lot of the time. But it's also a massive privilege to get that education. Especially a good education. Not to mention, you put out a fucking book. A book. Do you realize how much privilege you need to have to, one, have the time to write a book, and then two, also to just have the reach to get a publisher, get editors, get a million different things that goes into writing a book. You are extremely privileged. But while on the topic of your book, let's check out some of the reviews. So here's the book, and the bio I personally think is hilarious, and you'll get why it's so funny after reading some of these comments. I hate unfairness, so I turn my emotions into poetry. Slicing the dragon fruit dives into the frustration of expectations, school, the chaos of a teenage life, and the truths society often ignores. God, so deep. These poems are raw, relatable, and maybe a bit too harsh to handle, but I write them to release my own stress and anger and make people feel seen, understood, but mostly, importantly, less alone. Also, you see these dashes? I have a hard time believing that she actually used these dashes. I am willing to bet that is ChatGPT at its finest. But let's go on and look at some of these reviews because they are so fucking funny. So these are the 5-star reviews, and I would dive into them, but they seem to be a bit generic. My guess is that it's her supporters who followed her from TikTok and bought the book. I'm not saying it's necessarily bad that her supporters want to leave nice comments, but when you look at somebody who really likes poetry, react, and comment their opinions on the book, it's way, way different. So let's take a look at those. Honestly, I think this guy might need to write a book as well with how long this fucking review is. But honestly, it's a very, very good representation of her work. I want to highlight one section of this, though, where he says every single line feels forced, hollow, and painfully unoriginal. She writes about slicing the dragon fruit as if she's delivering some deeply profound, multi-layered philosophical revelation, but the entire concept collapses under its own pretentious weight. It's literally surface-level venting disguised as art. If you really want real poetry that moves the soul, go read the masters. If you want a masterclass in how not to write, read this. Save your money and time. Slicing the dragon fruit is an absolute joke. Wow. Very well put. I feel like a lot of the things that she says, it just feels like it comes from ChatGPT. And I think this perfectly encapsulates my entire problem with her. It is so pretentious and privileged that she has just no self-awareness about either. It's just insane. And she goes on to say a lot of things that are just so fucking pretentious. Like this next clip, she tries to compare like men and women and just completely bashes men for some fucking reason.
A top-tier man is just an average woman. A top-tier man is just an average woman.
Wow, practicing sexism in the Big 2-6. You're really fucking cool, aren't you? That's a joke, of course. I don't understand this whole view, though. You're arguing for equality, but then trying to shit on the other group of people. Like, why don't we want to bring everyone up to the same level instead of trying to bring other people down and raise one group up? Seems a little fucked up, no?
A man who doesn't drink is good with children, reads books, doesn't smoke, works hard to provide for the family, cooks, is just an ordinary woman.
Yeah, that would be an amazing argument if you were talking about world politics, but you weren't. You were talking about American culture as you live in America. And guess what? The percentages for men and females when it comes to smoking, the only difference is 3%. It's like 13 and 10. So what the fuck are you talking about? Dude, that took me one Google search.
But somehow when he exists as a man, he becomes a headline. He becomes rare, impressive, different from the rest, an idol, as if discipline, as if care, as if showing up in life was ever meant to be extraordinary.
Okay, so no, just being a man will not get you headlines. That is a really stupid claim. You're trying to make an argument against Clavicular's rise in fame, and the main reason that he's so popular is because of the crazy things that he does to try and look good. He bashes his face with a fucking hammer. That's fucking insane. Like that's the reason he's getting on these fucking headlines, because he was bashing his face with a hammer and doing meth. That's why he had the headlines, not for being a normal fucking guy.
But for women, it's not called top tier. It's called normal. No applause for not falling apart. No praise for holding a world in your own hands. No reward for doing what keeps everyone going. Just silence like it was never work at all. So what you call top tier was never about greatness. It was about perspective.
Yeah, I feel like that goes for everyone. We make random people stars all the fucking time. I can make the same argument against women. Look at the Kardashians. A man did all of the work representing O.J. Simpson in court, and a bunch of women in his family got famous for no fucking reason. They don't have any discernible talents aside from doing plastic surgery and having a sex tape. That's like their whole claim to fame. What the fuck are you talking about? See how stupid that argument is? Like, it goes both ways. This shit kind of happens sometimes. I don't understand why so many people tune into Clav. I don't know why the Kardashians were made famous. It just kind of fucking happens sometimes. You can make arguments about our society and all that all you fucking want, that we promote these very bad morals. Sure, I'll give you that all day long. But it's not a male thing. It's a fucking everybody thing. We promote weird shit. It just happens, dude. But anyway, that's enough for one video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you want to get a follow-up on this video, because there's so much fucking content on her, I would love to do one. But anyway, please don't go harass this person, as always. And yeah, that's kind of it. See ya.